Let's talk about Chase Points. So, Ultimate Rewards is one of the most powerful currencies out there. It's one of our favorites, but it's also one of the easiest to misuse. So, in today's episode, we are covering the five biggest mistakes people make with their Chase Points, and we'll give you some better alternatives so you can get more value from your points. So, let's go right into it. Chris, what is one of the big mistakes that people make with their Chase Points?
So, one of the biggest mistakes is booking through the Chase Travel portal instead of transferring to a partner. This is not always a bad idea, but you will be getting a fixed value when you use your points to book through the Chase portal. And while technically that is easier than transferring points, you could be leaving a lot of value on the table. The value of points in Chase Travel will depend on the card you have. The Chase Sapphire Reserve card, it can be worth up to 2 cents per point. So that's actually pretty good. The Chase Sapphire Preferred and Ink Business Preferred, you can get up to 1.75 cents per point. And then the Freedom Flex and Unlimited, the Ink Business Unlimited, and Cash get 1 cent per point. So, if you were to transfer those out, you may be able to get way more than that.
Yeah, absolutely. And then the second mistake we want to talk about, you actually need to just forget everything Chris said because the second mistake is using the wrong card when you are booking through Chase Travel. So while most of the time it is a mistake to book through Chase Travel, occasionally it does make sense. And when you do, you want to make sure you're using the right card. So, like Chris said, different cards have different values in Chase Travel. And if you have more than one, you want to make sure you are going through the correct one. So, for example, you have a Freedom Flex and a Sapphire Preferred. You want to make sure you are going through your Sapphire Preferred to make any bookings because that's going to give you access to that higher value. And these are those values that Chris mentioned. So, in this example, the Sapphire Preferred will get you up to 1.75 cents per point, where if you booked through the Flex, your ceiling is 1 cent per point. And that's a big difference. The cool thing is that Chase makes it really easy to pull your points across your cards as well as a member of your household so you can make sure you're taking advantage of the best redemption value. So, members of the same household can combine their ultimate rewards points. You're only allowed to combine your points, though, with one other person, and they must share the same address. And you can also combine the ultimate rewards points on your own Chase card. So, if it's just you and you have that Sapphire Preferred and the Flex, you can transfer all the points you earn on your Flex, which remember are advertised as cash back, but in your account, they're going to show as ultimate rewards points. You can take those points from the Flex and easily move them to your Sapphire Preferred. So then you can access the transfer partners, or on those few specific occasions, you can get the best value when you are booking through the Chase Travel portal.
That is a nice little hack that I bet a lot of people don't even realize. They think they have a cashback card and they think those points are just for a cashback, but no, you can actually stretch that value even further. I'll move on to mistake number 3, which is redeeming for low value redemptions. So redeeming your points for something like cashback or gift cards is a big mistake. If you were to take cash back, you'd be getting 1 cent per point. If you were to pay yourself back, which is an option, you'd be getting 1 cent per point. And then there's some bonus categories that can go to 25 to 50%. And then gift cards, 1 cent per point. Occasionally, you can get 10, 15% discounts. But this is generally the worst way to use your Chase points. Additionally, paying with your points at checkout at Amazon and PayPal, that will only give you 0.8 cents per point value. So you're essentially just throwing 20% of your points value away because you can redeem them at cashback at 1 cent per point if you needed to. But yeah, just steer clear of those points at checkouts.
Yeah, there is no reason anyone should be paying with points at Amazon or PayPal. That is terrible value. Even if you just want cash back, that is terrible value. Don't do it. There's never
It's,
never a reason. Avoid
well,
at all costs.
sometimes I guess when
Maybe like,
those Amex ones, those special occasions.
oh
But
yeah, but
yeah,
that's Amex points. We're talking
yeah,
Chase points here. I've never seen that
yeah.
with Chase. Have you? I mean, if that would be true, then
I think
yeah,
I've seen Discover and City. That's
I've never
crazy
seen it
though.
with
But
Chase.
yeah.
So as of right now, yeah, paying with points at Amazon and PayPal with Chase is a terrible idea. Okay, the next mistake is transferring points without a specific reward in mind. So let's say you hear about a transfer bonus and you assume that that's the best time to transfer your points. And in most cases, you'd be wrong. It's risky to transfer your points without a specific plan in mind, even with a transfer bonus. And I know it can be hard to see that bonus
Yeah.
and ignore it. So like right now, there's a 20% transfer bonus from Chase to Air France KLM Flying Blue that goes through May 27th. So just a couple more days if you're listening to this on the day that it publishes. So let's say you take advantage of that without a specific flight to book. Now you're just stuck with flying blue miles. And yes, while those are great sometimes, that takes away the flexibility of having transferable points in the first place. Those points cannot be transferred back to Chase. They
Hmm.
are stuck
Yep.
now within flying blue in this example. And those points could be devalued at any point. They could change the reward chart. All kinds of things can happen. So really, there are probably a handful of circumstances when it makes sense to transfer speculatively, but those are very few and far between. As a general rule, only transfer if you have a specific way to use those points in the immediate future.
Well said. Well said. That's something I think a lot of us struggle with. They see these big flashy transfer bonuses, and you
Yeah.
got to take advantage. But yeah, you're right.
I mean,
Sometimes
I've
it's
been
not always.
tempted. It's easy to be tempted, but you have to be strong.
Be strong. All right, here's another one. Let's talk about hoarding points because this could be a negative as well. We all want a big balance, but points can be devalued at any time. For example, we just saw Hyatt move to an expanded award chart with much higher prices. Hotels used to top out at 45,000 points a night. They could be costing up to 75,000 points per night. So I am, and a lot of us are in the earn and burn philosophy. We're all for, saving for that big redemption, but you should either have a plan in mind or pay attention to award prices so you can make a move if something changes. We'll always flag these big devaluations on the podcast and in our newsletter as well.
Yeah, the newsletter I think is a great thing. Subscribe to that for free and get those just delivered into your inbox. Because anytime any big devaluation happens, we will absolutely cover it on upgraded points.